WURD Radio on Demand, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live at wordradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Dr. Stacy Holland is the executive director of Elevate 215, an organization geared to improve the education system in Philadelphia by investing in schools and talent, collaborating with various partners, expanding access and resources for families, and advocating to create conditions for success. You are like the third greatest interview. I've had such good interviews this morning. Good morning, Madam. Today we're going to talk about Philadelphia School Fair for K-12 students. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I am so good, Madam. Talk to us about what's happening with this Philadelphia School Fair, and thank you for joining us on The Source this morning.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to talk about something very exciting. We are at Elevate going to welcome thousands of families for the largest K-12 school fair we've hosted in Philadelphia, and we're doing that in partnership with Great Philly Schools. Mm-hmm. This K-12 fair will take place this Friday, October 13th from 3 to 6, and Saturday, October 14th from 10 to 2 at the Philadelphia Convention Center. And here's the goal of it. Right, there will be over 100 high schools and 100 K-8 schools from all sectors, right? The goal is that as families begin thinking about their educational journey for their young person, they've got to find the right match. Like, what's the learning environment that's really going to help their little one or their young person thrive? So this is an opportunity for families to come and learn and shop. They can actually get information from public schools, public charter schools, from Catholic schools. They can get help around applications for both the public schools and charter schools and the diocesan schools. But it really is an opportunity for parents to talk directly to those staff people in those schools and figure out, what do you offer that can really help my young person as a learner and help them advance?
How many years has this been going on?
So this is the first time we're doing a K-12 fair. We have always done a high school fair.
Yes.
And last year, what we learned was families were like, well, I have all these little people, so we actually need information for them too. Yes. Yes. And, ma'am, one of the interesting statistics that most people don't know is 59% of all K-8 kids actually don't go to school in their neighborhood. 84% of high schoolers go outside of their neighborhood. Also go outside of their neighborhood. So it's really important. It's really important for parents to be able to get information and make the best selection for their kids.
Wow. How many schools are represented at this fair?
So there's a total of, that's a really good question. There's a total of 400 schools in the city. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're going to have over 200 of those schools represented. Every year, we always have the high schools. So that's 100. And then we added another 100 K-8. And then next year, we're going to go even bigger until we actually have all the schools represented.
Yeah, it is important because often I get these calls from parents who are saying that, they're told this school is a bad school and that school is a bad school. But if you don't go and do your research yourself, for instance, Benjamin Franklin High School is one such school for me where everybody's like, oh my God, it went viral about the fights, etc. But there's so many resources in Benjamin Franklin High School. And I talked to the gentleman who was the machinist yesterday, and when he started describing all the things were there, I was like, word? But we don't know if we don't know, right?
Correct.
So what do you want parents to know as they're showing up to have these conversations? What are the schools prepared to share with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing I would say is I really want them to take stock of their young person. What are the types of activities, support services that their learner needs? Number one. Mm-hmm. The second is they should ask as many questions as they can. I actually recommend that parents come with lists, and many do. Does your program actually support kids with special needs? My child actually has a learning disorder. My child actually is really active, right? Many of our boys, specifically our Black boys, are all over the joint, right? There are schools. I have one school that actually has an entire ninja gym in it. A ninja gym. Right? You have some schools for kids that need special supports that have sensory rooms, right? Children on the autism spectrum need that. You have some schools that have great, great, great arts programs. I literally chose my high school because I was an arts kid and they had one traveling choir and my mama was like, I'm going to get you to that school, even though it was across town, right? It's like, I'm going to put you there. So I think parents have to figure out, is my kid artsy? Does my kid like to solve problems? We have problem-based schools here, like project learning schools. We have competency-based schools. We have art schools. We have college preparatory schools. We have a lot of career and technical ed programs like the one you described at Ben Franklin, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Center. My child likes to do hair. I'm looking for a cosmetology program. So I think parents, we want them to shop based on who their young person is and then be able to ask these questions of these schools to figure out, well, what's the right match for my young person? Which is why we have so many options.
So then the question becomes, for me, at least in my head, that parents should know their children before they show up to this thing. Ask the hard questions. Don't go in there saying, I want my child to become a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief. Go in there saying, these are the interests that my child has. And if your child is old enough to go with you, let them go, right? And Absolutely. They can shop the schools right along with you because they're the ones that are going to have to sit in those buildings day after day after day. That is just awesome. Tell people one more time exactly when this is happening and the days and times, please.
Excellent. So it's happening this Friday and Saturday. On Friday, October 13th, from 3 to 6 p.m. and Saturday, October 14th, between 10 and 2 p.m. at the Philadelphia Convention Center, downtown, Hall F. Parents can also go on greatphillyschools.com. And there is a wealth of information about every single school in Philadelphia and also get some information as well. And they will walk away with a complete guide of every school in Philadelphia to help them with their journey.
Before you get off the air, we have 2 minutes. Let's talk about Elevate 215. What is Elevate 215?
Elevate 215, we are a nonprofit that's really committed to raising the quality of schools in Philadelphia, irregardless of sector. We need every school to be great. We do that by investing in schools that are on a positive trajectory and working with their school teams to figure out what's it going to take to actually get you to that next level of performance. The second thing we do is we're really focused on the talent pipeline. You can't have great schools if you don't have great teachers. And we know if you have diverse teachers, specifically for our children, where the majority of our children are Black and brown. So we've got to work on getting as many Black and brown teachers our BIPOC teachers into the pipeline as possible. And the third thing we do is we work with all of our stakeholders to create the conditions. That's everything from this fair that we talked about, this K-12 fair. How do we actually educate our families and give them good information for them to be able to empower themselves and advocate for their children? How do we also work with our legislators, our system leaders, to make sure that the money and the policies actually align with that great school and the talent workforce that we want to recruit and retain in Philly?
So, Dr. Stacy Holland, I had no idea you were coming on or to talk about this particular subject until I opened up my run of show today. I am going to, Madame, based on the conversation that we had just now, invite you back to a special broadcast that I am doing next Wednesday from 4 to 7 to talk about this and how your work will impact what's going on in Philadelphia. Are you open to it?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
When you get off the air with me, reach out to Niall and tell him you and I had a conversation about this, and that you need to come on October 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. We'll figure out what time works for you, and then I'll follow up with you. All right?
Looking forward to it. Thank you,
Madam.
Much.
Good luck this weekend. Have a great K-12 school fair.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.